Ready? Okay, go!
The purpose of these games and the activities of the National Search and Rescue Secretariat in this regard is to provide training to those people that are usually the first ones on the scene. It's important that they know how to rescue, and it's important that they prepare for the various tragedies that they may encounter. We have both national teams, Canadian teams from all across Canada, and we also have an international flavor with 2 teams from Taiwan, China. So it's a very active process and an opportunity to apply in Canada those things that they can learn from not only other Canadians, but other people internationally.
The course has been set up so that there are 3 legs on the course. The change of direction and a distance. The teams are given the compass bearing for each leg and the distance, and flags have been placed on trees fairly closely, so they have to be fairly accurate as to their bearing, because that'll affect the distance to the next flag as well. When they come back, they report the flags that they reached, and then we'll check and see whether or not they got the right one.
Got the right way? That made a big difference, eh?
For search planning, we've given teams 2 different simulated SAR incidents that are taking place at the same time. One's an Alzheimer's victim who was reported missing from a medical facility, and the other's a young couple who have not shown up at a rendezvous point well after they were expected. The teams are given topographical maps and various fictitious resources to use in their search, like vehicles, rope bags, medical kits, untrained volunteers, mobile radio sets, and so on. Teams are scored on their organizational and planning skills. Well, for example, they should know that the Alzheimer's victim would most likely be found within 2 miles of the medical facility, although we have thrown in a few curves to make things a little more interesting.
Don't forget your skills.
I will give you the incident, what the problem is, and then...
This is the first response medical event. When the teams arrive here, they find an unconscious victim who was injured in a fall. What the competitors have to do is assess the patient, determine there's a possibility of spinal injury, then secure and stabilize the victim for movement out of the remote area. We provide them with a backboard, towels, blankets, and other items to improvise with. During the course of the medical evaluation by the rescue team, the victim will pretend to start vomiting, which means the teams must also deal with the potential of choking. It gives them a very realistic scenario to test their skills. They're awarded their score based on how they conduct their assessment and the preparation for evacuation.
We don't have much more than that. Her name is
with us.
Kylie Russell. Yes, you can have that shoe.
In search and rescue missions, at times there are criminal aspects to the disappearance of people. This part of the search and rescue competition deals with locating clues, properly handling and marking them on maps, and if there's anything of a suspicious nature, to ensuring that it's brought to the attention of the proper authorities. The teams are scored based on their ability to locate and properly deal with the clues that have been left in this track set. They have a half an hour to complete the track, and they all are given generic directions, and it's up to the team to determine what clues they find and how they deal with them when they found them.
Check what we have for
Oh, my ankle hurts, I'm stuck.
How long has she been there, Harvey?
Oh, half an hour, 45 minutes.
Okay. What was the reason going in? Can we get that blanket here?
When the team shows up here, they find the victim trapped in a confined space. Here it's a pipe, but it could be a cave or a rock fall. The rescuers are told they can access the victim only from the front side of the opening. We give points for surveying the scene, determining the condition of the victim, and their extrication techniques. If the team tries to pull the victim out without checking to see if she's pinned down by fallen rocks or other debris, we instructed her to scream "Blue Murder." She's been a great victim, really catching some teams off guard. Of course, the louder the screams, the more points deducted. All in all, they're doing pretty good so far.
Today we held the second running of the SARSCENE Games. I believe they were successful, fun, and I believe that a lot of people saw skills in action that they might not otherwise have. And the winning team with a score of 60.75, the gold medal winner of the SARSCENE 98 Games in Banff, Alberta, Team Huron from Marathon, Ontario.
The dogs are trained to follow two kinds of scent. One is they will cast around and look for any human scent, or in the case of the dog you're about to see, which is a bloodhound, he's going to be given an article of scent that belongs to the victim. Now, if you just keep watching across that creek to your right, you're going to see that dog start to break cover there fairly quickly. Here he goes. Now, you notice the dog is working a very tight line, which means that his head is going to be right low to the track. The wind will start to blow from up the hill. See how the wind's starting to carry up? Now, with the way the wind blows and the way human scent blows, the dog will work out his path to the track. A bloodhound trails a little bit, which means that instead of being right on the Arthur Murray step-by-steps of the victim, a hound will work to the left or right of the scent, depending on the wind, sometimes up to 10 or 15 yards. And he's on his way to success. You're going to get to see the guy slobbered. A round of applause would be appropriate just about the time the slobber hits his face, because that's all he's going to get for a reward. Marianne, you can start to set out. There you go. Now, if you look to your right, you'll see a very small person. Okay, Marianne, we'll just let you wait till the camera guy gets there, because he's running out of air, and then we'll show you what air scent is. Now, air scent dogs are the foundation of search and rescue dogs. They're able to work off-leash, they're able to cover a large area fast, and they can do the work of 20 ground searchers very easily in the same time frame. Go ahead, Marianne, cut him loose. Now, he's working strictly air scent. So he'll zigzag and run all over the place until he makes the location. Yeah? Well, I told you he was a good sniffer. Now, if you listen for the bark, you'll know he's found the victim. There's your bark, and that's why we use the bark, because you can hear it from 200 or 300 yards away, and you can hear it in country that you normally couldn't see the dog in. So that bark tells us that you've got a live victim, or in the case of a deceased person, it also indicates the dog has found a deceased person. So if you want to put it together, I think Marianne can hear you from over there. That was fast, short, and sweet. Over the last 15 years, the use of dogs to detect drowning victims has become very prevalent. And you'll notice some very interesting things. You will see the dog lean over the side of the boat and appear to be biting at the water. When you see the biting action, what that is the dog trying to get the scent. Now, you notice that the diver is wearing a diving suit, which means it's keeping the scent inside of it. So the only scent the dog is going to detect is whatever comes out of the air bubbling, or what comes out of the little spaces where the mask isn't, or where his hands aren't. So this becomes difficult as opposed to a regular person whose body is going to be clothed or unclothed and able to emit the scent a lot longer. Look at that. Look, she's already started to catch the cone. Now what she has to do is give us exactly where it is. Now you notice her mindset goes right back to the boat and into the water. They will sometimes scratch and bark at the bottom of the boat if they're over top of the victim. See the bark right over the edge of the boat? We'll cut the motor to signal the diver to come up. And he has her reward. You hold the second boat back, please. And that concludes our demonstration of the Search and Rescue Dog Association of Alberta with the tracking, air scent, and water search demonstration.
The boat you see approaching you now is a 24-foot rigid inflatable boat powered by 250 horsepower outboard. We use it solely in the western region for primary search and rescue, and all of our ships and our lifeboat stations carry these style of craft. They are involved in or initiate up to 80% of all of our rescues in British Columbia. What we're going to show you today is two different styles of removing people from the water. It's very difficult to remove them from the water. This way, he's free and clear of the boat. You notice that the victim is now facing the sponsor. We do this primarily so that there's no hypertension in the back. You find that you have vocal contact, face-to-face contact with the victim, so it's very reassuring to them. The next step we're going to do, I believe, is the carbuckling lift, which is lifting the victim horizontal to the water. We use two lines, one around the shoulder, one around the knees. And those lines are attached to the bow. And what they do is they lay the victim on the water, string the lines underneath them, and then you simply pull them up. By doing it this way, you can lift very heavy people quite easily with two people. Severe hypothermic people, it's far better to lift them horizontal versus vertical out of the water. If someone is severely hypothermic, this is the style of lift we will use. See, now as he comes up, he's just going to rotate within the line, very quick to bring a victim in the boat that way. And you can bring in quite big and large people. Okay, that concludes our brief demonstration point. All